West of Sundown, issue number 1. A lot of you might know this, and if you don't, I'll say it again. Vault Comics is an independent publisher, and I think they are on the well, maybe not fast track. Let me put that this way. They're on the track to be one of the biggest companies with the best titles out there. Because from what they've put out and the stuff I consistently read, it's phenomenal. It's strong, it is fantastic, it is really cool. This book is really cool. And now I think it does fall to some of the traps of the kind of like grindhouse formula, where the characters kind of become stereotypes and they don't really have a personality. But that's what we're going in here expecting. You're getting kind of like that preacher-esque feel mixed with that kind of, what's the name of that? From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know why I was drawing a blank on that. That's the feeling this book's in capturing, right down to the cover art, which is like a vintage poster of that beautiful, Suspiria-looking style. It's awesome. And it's really cool. So this book is written by Tim Seeley and Aaron Campbell. It is drawn by Jim Terry. It is colored by Trayona Farrell. And it is lettered by Crank. That's kind of fun. I don't know who Crank is, but that's cool. And it goes into beats you've seen before, but they're fun beats. And this is the thing I like about Vault. They're not breaking, the formula into doing something new. They're just making solid comic books and premises you have seen before. So this book opens up in Virginia. It is July 22nd, 1861. There is a soldier in the fields. He is burying a body, and suddenly he hears like the ringing of a bell in a grave, and he's like, that's insane. So he goes to investigate, and he starts digging out this grave, and it's this woman in there in a red dress with black hair, and she's like, what day is it? He's like, okay, so it looks like I've woken up in the middle of the Davis Little War, so I thought I could make it through, but I guess not. And she's like, so who are you? Who is this? He's like, oh, I'm O'Shaughnessy. I'm Doily O'Shaughnessy. And she's like, well then, Doily, why don't you come with me? We're going to go take the world by storm. He's like, what are you talking about? Where are we going? They go to New York City, because of course you do. It's a decade later, and now this woman is a socialite of the highest variety. Her name is Madame d'Aubend, and she is just kind of eyes wide shutting people. She's in like this big party of all these rich socialites, and there's this one guy who's kind of an asshole named Homer, and she is a vampire, so she sucks his blood and kills him. Yeah, that's about it. That's what this is. It's a sexy girl as a vampire. You've seen it before, but it's kind of fun and cool. And the artwork just invokes that classic feeling pulpy action, and I really do like it. Very fun stuff. So then it's like sometime after the party, the madam is walking back with Doily. They're just headed down the street somewhere, and you see Doily's trying to question like his place in this world. He's starting to feel like, am I making the right choice helping this weird woman do all this stuff? And then it comes into this conversation of like, this is a young country, America's still blossoming, and they're still trying to figure out who are its monsters and who are its angels, which is, I love that line because it's a really cool use of that terminology. And he's still trying to like freak out, like, I don't know what's going on, but something's really weird here. Suddenly this older woman runs up to them, and she's speaking German, and Obend has kind of like this weird pain in her stomach as she collapses to the ground, and suddenly we cut to see her home in a flame, and her native soil is burning up in the flames, and when she runs inside to try to like get the soil in the coffin back, it burns her, and she potentially almost collapses into death. And now it becomes a really fun trip down west, headed back to the provinces of Mexico and back and through again, all the way down the world to find some of her native soil to bring her back. So we get a nice page where we see, the journey they're taking, where they start in New York and they're heading all around South America, where they head back up to get to her place. And you see that she's packed away in a coffin on a cruise sailing ship somewhere. They're headed down there. And then you see that Doily starts to write in his journal, is talking about his experience, how he starts to feel like an outsider and question his place in this world next to this woman who's effectively changed his life in different ways. He doesn't know how to feel. He doesn't know how to behave. When they dock, I can't remember where they said they dock, but they dock like 3 months later in, I think it wasn't Los Angeles, right? Yeah, okay, it is Los Angeles. So now they have to head back down. So they're headed back down the trail. They're going to head down all the way through Mexico, and she's still in the coffin, and he's starting to still try to figure out what his place is through all of this. And when she breaks out of the coffin to kind of like heal up and take these bad guys that attack her, he once again starts to realize maybe this isn't the world I want to be a part of. It kind of fully heals her, but now he's kind of just like intrinsically connected to this woman's past, and he doesn't know the right place to feel or how to connect to all of it. Very interesting. good use of that character. Just like starting right from the beginning, he's having doubts. It sets up for like what could be a fast-paced story, but it also just feels very naturalistic. I do like that energy. I think that's very cool. Then we cut to some bar later. We're getting like the narration from Doyle where he's talking about like when he was a kid, his mother tried to drown him and he saw the face of like this pale woman with like violet hair. And she was saying like, one day you are going to be called for services and you will be doing great things. And as he's talking about that, they walk into this bar and the world just like stops to stare at them. And you see like this masked figure is seeing Doily from the shadows. And it's the masked figure that was seen at the site of Ben's house being burnt down. Like this guy in like big goggles and a stupid little hat. He runs into this church and he's talking to this guy in a wheelchair. He's like, they're here, Mr. Dark. Like whatever it is, they're here. I found them. They're awesome. And this guy is called Mr. Griffin. So all these things are connecting tissues. And we see that this Mr. Dark is a man in a wheelchair. And when we turn around to see the reveal of this person that was looking for the vampire, we see that they are a zombie with their heads scarred up and caved in with glowing yellow eyes. And once again, you can't tell who are the angels and who are the monsters. Now, I say zombie, it could be Frankenstein-y, where it's a man being rebuilt. Either way, kind of cool. A really cool place to end it. And I was wondering where this book was going to go and how it was going to go about. So it looks like it's going to be kind of like set in like the Mexican sun where these people are fighting. And it's just like gunmen and monster slayers and all these Van Helsing-like people trying to kill this vampire for being bad. And they do specify that in the book, a Bend is kind of like trying to be a good person and only attacking like the rich elite who are bad people. It's kind of cool. I do dig it. It's just like a really fun vibe. And I know it's probably not going to be for everybody, but it does invoke some classic like From Dusk Till Dawn vibes. I got a lot of Preacher too, maybe because it's a vampire and the guy she's with is Irish and they're fighting a guy that's kind of dressed like the Saint of Killers. It did give me those vibes. It also gave me vibes like Manifest Destiny because we're traveling down a trail. It's just really cool. And I dug it a lot. I think it was a fun read. And it's going to be something I recommend a lot of people check out because everyone loves vampires. Everyone thinks they're fun and cool. Sometimes you just want a little bit of different taste in that. And this is the kind of story you can only really tell in comic books. So it's working really well for me. I did like this first issue a lot. So West of Sundown, issue number 1, I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.